Ladies and gentlemen, this is our 22nd year on the air as education exchange of the education headquarters as well as the public access TV. And at the outset, I would like, of course, to welcome our guests from the great school of Twain Elementary. But before I do this and introduce you, I would like to give credit to the people who were always behind the curtain or they don't show up on the stage, as they have been doing for years. Those people are the ones that you see in the control room there or behind the cameras here. Mr. John Karhoff, who has started with Michael Peterson, who is in front of you here, this show 22 years ago. And it has been on the air ever since. Weekly, on a weekly basis, sometimes twice a week. And I would like to welcome BJ, who is in the camera with us today, in the second camera. I don't know how to tell you that I'm so excited about having you tonight because Twain is a very important school in our district. Okay. And we are having the privilege and the honor to have parents representing the PTO as well as some of the kids that preferred not to have fun time in their vacation, but to come today on June 10th to share with us some serious discussion about education. Astrid and Rachel are the stars of this program. And Aaron is there on the very far end here. Ulrike is here, PTO president, and of course Astrid and Rachel. Astrid is the daughter of Ulrike, and Rachel is the daughter of Eric Johnson, who's sitting next to her, and Jason Lewis, the famous Jason Lewis, whose son, I think your son is going to leave school. I heard that, right? This year. That will be the last. Yeah?
My daughter, this will be her last year at Twain. Yeah.
And then she will go to the Southeast.
To Southeast, yeah. I have a son who's at Southeast now. He just finished 7th grade.
So next year when you come, you will represent the PTO on Southeast?
Oh, I don't know about that.
So it is my privilege. Just before we start again, I just would like to say that the three of us were part of what's called the Magnet School program. So we know each other, we worked with each other for a long time. And as a matter of fact, Eric and Jason were instrumental in writing the final report that we submitted for the Magnet School to the board. Right. And I think the Magnet School, we've been thinking that Twain is a very good place to begin this program at the time, unless they change it. Well, we never know.
It's been discussed, for sure.
It has been discussed, yeah.
Yeah.
And so let us have a very laid-back discussion about Twain School. And I would like Rachel and Astrid to jump in whenever you want to say something. Don't hesitate. Age is not important in our forum here. You may have more experience than all of us because you are the consumer. You are in the classroom, right? You see the action every single day with teachers, with your peers, right? We were still look from outside. We are not with you how many hours a day? 6 hours? The school?
I think they counted in minutes now.
We're approaching the policy now. So, Aaron, let's start with you. Tell us something about about yourself. You are an artist too, right?
I am. I'm a writer and an artist, and I'm a Mark Twain parent. I have 3 children. One is going into 6th grade at Mark Twain. The second is going into 1st grade at Mark Twain, and I have a third that will be starting the preschool program next year. Twain has an excellent preschool program, and I'm also a member of the PTO and like to help out with the school however I can.
And backstage, you talked to me about the creativity as part of the curriculum there at Mark Twain.
Yeah, I really appreciate the differentiated learning that goes on at Mark Twain, the differentiated teaching that goes on. I actually open enroll my children into Mark Twain because I saw things happening in the classrooms there that I thought would really serve my children well, and they've really thrived under that style of teaching. The teachers are really good at identifying what kind of learner every student in front of them is, and tailoring their teaching to really effectively teach that child. And
Kind of one-on-one basis.
yeah, I mean, they identify each child individually, and when they get one-on-one time with them, they really are able to effectively tailor their style of teaching to the style of learning that each of the students has. And I really appreciate that.
Aaron, do you think that this can still continue if the class sizes become more or increase? You can still have this ability from the teacher to treat kids on individual basis or individualized instruction?
Sure. I think it increases the challenges to the teacher to be able to spend the necessary time with each student. Sure. I think that the challenges will grow with that, but I'm more than impressed by each teacher that I've come into contact with. I think the Twain teachers are a model for the whole district on how to meet the challenges of increasing class sizes, large ELL populations, that sort of thing, and they run with it, and they do a great job. And I think that every school in the district could really do well by studying what's going on at Twain.
And Mrs. Carlson, now as a PTO leader, give us a little light on what you do and your activities and success and sometimes disappointment.
As the PTO?
Yeah.
Yes. So we are kind of a small but very dedicated PTO, and we've been making great strides over the last years. I've been president for the last year. I've been active since my child, who is in 3rd grade now, joined kindergarten. And some of the things we do, for example, we provide every student with a T-shirt, and that is actually a very important part of what we do, because it also showcases our creativity. We have a T-shirt contest, so each of these shirts is either designed by a parent or by a student. These, I think, were designed by a Twain parent, and so we do that every year. We put on many different events to make sure that every student, so that we have fun. We fundraise, of course. We need funds. We try to send as many students as possible on excursions, on field trips, and so on. What else? Of course, our homecoming parade. That is our biggest entry. We try to we've always felt Twain was maybe not as well known as a great school as it could be. So we've always tried to showcase Twain as the great school it is, our creative spirit, our diversity, our sheer awesomeness, I guess.
We're on our 2nd year of winning the best float in our homecoming parade. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to give that trophy up. We're not going to give that trophy up. So we'll win it again next year. We band together to color my driveway orange and make a great float every year. Yep.
Okay,
We have a good.
I would like to move to Eric now. Give me your input.
Sure. Well, just to follow up, just to pick up on what they were talking about in terms of the things that our PTO does, I'd add that we always have a great turnout at family nights at the school, and that's something that's not really, the PTO is part of that, but that's also the teachers and the staff and the people at the DASP, the after-school program, put on family nights where we serve pizza and we have educational programs in the classroom and we have kids, and we kind of do that to help build community. And
we try to put on a variety of events as well. We try to support the teachers and also the after-school program stuff. For example, we had a STEM night recently, and we did that all with parent and community help. And right now, I am, for example, working on getting a free language learning program, because I'm a foreign language teacher. I teach German, so I'm actually working on getting a free language learning program started at Twain that is free for the students. So these are we really try to complement and make our education even richer.
The carnival is something too, like that.
Yeah,
that's
go ahead,
so
go
fun.
ahead, Astrid. Tell me what, louder, so that we can all hear.
It's like a family night, except with way more games and like it's a family night times 3 basically.
And
3 for the better.
you like this kind of spirit, right? The family spirit, right?
Yeah. It's nice. Plus you can meet every one of your friends.
We've got a great school spirit at Twain, and that's something that we see at the events and at the parade a lot, especially, and to celebrate and talk about.
Eric, do you think that it's important that parents get involved in the education process?
I think so, yeah. It's been that way for us, and it's been kind of a give and take. The schools helped inspire some participation by us. There was a sense of wanting to come in and support the school, and then once we saw what was going on at the school, it wasn't just that we wanted to support it, we felt like it pulled something out of us in terms of participation. So I think that it's very important. I know that not all parents have the time to be as involved as others, and that's a real consideration, but what we've found is that once you get involved a little bit, you can help out by doing just one little thing. And once you get involved a little bit, the rewards of it come back to you.
And Eric, you and Jason Lewis are very familiar faces when it comes to the board meeting. I know that not
We've been there a
many people
couple of
watch
times.
the board meeting, but you are there a lot of times.
As Aaron is also, and actually Ulrika and Aaron and Jason and I originally a few years ago started out going to board meetings to campaign for air conditioning, because at the time there wasn't a
Right.
master plan
I remember
to put air conditioning in schools across the district, and we were coming because we felt like it was something that really needed to be addressed, and we showed up at every meeting and we spoke and we talked about it, and I feel like, and to some degree, we were part of building support. All of us were part of building support for this plan that's put in place that's going to bring expansions and renovations and heating and air conditioning, not only to Twain, but to the schools all across the
That's
district.
probably what I really meant by your participation, because I see when you stand up in front of the board, you don't only talk about Twain.
Right.
No.
You have more global discussion about issues that's related to every student in the district, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about, how do you foresee the future of the school?
The future of Twain, I'm incredibly excited. The addition that we're putting on, through the auspices of this facilities master plan, it's just going to be spectacular for the school. I mean, I think back to 6 years ago when my wife and I first were sending our daughter to school there. We moved to Iowa City 10 years ago with the word on the street was Iowa City has great schools. The whole community is filled with great schools, and that's never changed. It's always been true. But we heard some grumblings along the way, like, oh, maybe Twain, there's some issues there. And we figured it was best just for us to go see for ourselves. And we found, as I think everybody else here and everybody who sends their children to the school, it's been a fantastic experience. I mean, the differentiated learning came to bear for me and my family when my daughter was in kindergarten and she was falling behind a little bit in reading, and they were able to put her into reading recovery in kindergarten. And now going into 6th grade, she's reading at the 8th grade level. So they just do a fantastic job of recognizing what the students need and targeting the learning in such a way that it works for that student. So I think the future is just wide open for Twain. The addition is going to give us the air conditioning that we needed so the students and the teachers can be in a comfortable environment. And I see build up around the entire neighborhood that surrounds Twain. Sycamore Mall is in the midst of a renaissance. I see a lot of new faces around the neighborhood as I take my daughter to school. I think the southeast side of Iowa City is really starting to see a little bit of a renaissance that's going to be exciting for our town, because we need that kind of growth. And Twain, right there as a hub, is going to be a great place to send your kids to school for lots of years to come.
So you are happy with the way diversity is successful in the school, or?
It's an interesting thing to discuss, because the diversity of a school like Twain is what makes it special, and it's what gives it its particular energy. But across the district, we've had a lot of discussions about, how much is too much diversity, or, do we think about socioeconomic status and balancing things out? I think balance is incredibly important, but we can't ignore the real dynamism that the diversity of Twain brings to the table when our students are there with people from all walks of life, from all cultures, and are really learning from their peers as much as they're learning from their teachers.
What do you do? What's your...
I'm the director of the Writing and Humanities program for the Carver College of Medicine. I came to Iowa City in 2005 to go to the Iowa Writers Workshop. I got a Master's of Fine Arts in Writing Fiction.
So you are witnessing the higher education as well as the elementary education
Yes.
at the same time.
Yeah,
And next year you will see the junior high and senior high soon.
yeah. I'm seeing it all at this point. Yeah, and
So it's a first-hand experience,
Yeah.
let's say.
yeah, I love working with students. I love working with students at all levels. I love being supportive of my daughter's school. I love working with the medical students, who are some of the brightest and most talented students that you could ever possibly want. I also had the opportunity to see sometimes where there are holes in how we teach students, and maybe some ways that we could think about filling those holes. So it's a really interesting vantage point that I have.
Thank you, Jason. Eric, what do you do?
I work at ACT as a content specialist in
Again, part
English
of the
language
education.
arts. I moved here to go to grad school in American Studies, ended up coming out with a PhD in 2012. And I'm trying to apply that in some ways, not only in my work at work, but because American Studies is an interdisciplinary program that focuses on society and culture. I try to use that training when I think about my school, when I think about local school matters, things like that.
And you are a writer in the meantime.
To some degree, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I remember sometimes, when we were in the meeting and you stopped by the sentence and punctuations and all that, that was very important for you.
I wanted things to be just so.
Yeah. And Rachel, tell me about your impression about the school. What do you like about the school? And
I like how the teachers really understand us. Like they can tell what we mean, can tell what we need.
and you are, which grade are you in, Rachel?
Going into fourth,
Fourth grade. And what would you like to do in the future?
I want to have something to do with animals. I love animals.
Do you have animals at home?
2 cats,
2 cats. What's their names are?
Rory and Polka Dot.
And what kind of animals they are? What kind of cats?
We have no idea with Polka Dot, and Rory is a red tabby.
And do you think that you may like science then in the future?
Yeah.
To be like in medicine or veterinarian medicine or something to do with animals, right?
Yeah.
And Astrid, what would you like to do in the future?
Well, I think that it would be nice if, there were, I don't know, as you got into the, 5th and 6th grade, that there were, actually specialized classes for the things that you wanted to do, a bit like in college, only not that specialized.
So you want to explore many areas before you make a final decision of
Yeah.
what you would like to
She's
do.
great at engineering and stuff like that, though.
Don't flatter me.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be trapped, so that when she gets older and people will show her the tape and say, oh, you said you're going to be this, or you're going to be that. She doesn't want to make a commitment now, right?
Yeah,
Leave it open.
because I might like engineering right now, but in the future I might like, I don't know,
Right.
The exact opposite of engineering. Barbie dolls.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah,
That's somehow.
it can be engineering, building bridges. It can be bioengineering, right?
Yeah.
Building cells instead. Aaron, now I have to tell you, as a former art teacher myself, I feel that with all these programs like STEM and all that,
Sure.
less focus has been given to the art programs in
Yeah.
our school.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same, or it's me only? Or
No, I do. I definitely feel the same. I feel like there's such a focus on reading and math right now that anything outside of that kind of gets pushed aside. And sometimes that means science too, but it seems like the arts really take a hit. Foreign language, arts, the arts, music, all that. They seem to be the first one to go.
Yeah. We need more art. I mean, art is one of my favorite classes, but we only have it
Once a week.
Well, I hope a lot of people who make decisions are watching this, either through the YouTube or public access TV website, or through the regular channels, 18, 21, whatever, and they listen to what Astrid and Rachel just said beautifully now.
Yeah.
They look like they are
Absolutely.
frustrated because of this. They want more time. For
Yeah, teaching the whole child is really important, and sometimes that's forgotten when it comes to testing and that sort of thing in the schools.
Exactly, and now there are a lot of research that proves that music helps math, and helps geometry and imagination, problem solving, critical thinking, and all that.
Foreign language is shown to have an overall wonderful effect on the human brain. And yet we have cut that further. And
Yeah.
this is something that I feel very, very, very strongly about as a language teacher. I run a small language school for children. These are actually two of my students as well. I teach German, and I also teach at Kirkwood Community College German. So seeing German being cut from the district recently kind of makes me somewhat anxious for the future, because I know from experience coming from Europe how important language education, especially at a young age, is. So that's something that I would like to see more.
Ulrika, what do you think, how we can deal with this? Is it the board, is it the Department of Education, is it the administration, the way we think? Is it political polarization? What's going on? Do you think that the board, for instance, can have a say in changing this?
I think it's a combination of things. Overall, I think it is actually it's a fundamental problem with how education is seen, and I think in the entire United States. So I think it's an overarching problem. But I certainly think that on the local level, many changes can be made. We can look at different school districts, even in our neighborhood, like neighboring school districts, and they do things differently. And I think we can learn from that. And I'm not saying that the Iowa City Community School District is doing is making only mistakes. I'm not saying that at all. I think this is a good school district with strong schools. We're working hard. We're trying to work with the challenges we have and figuring them out. And I think these are just wishes or kind of nuances. And I think we can work together. And I'm very hopeful for the future. I think this can all be, things that have been lost can be regained, and I think it's also a financial problem. We have to be very aware of that, but I'm hopeful for the future.
What do you think, Eric?
Just to follow up on that, I think so much of it comes down to the state funding, which we have a limited amount of control over. And I would just say to everyone out there, if you've got friends and family in other districts across the state where the legislators are not necessarily as supportive of education, let them know how important it is, especially for a growing district like ours. Let them know how important it is that education be funded at the state level, because a lot of the programs that we lost come down to really hard choices that our board and administration had to make in the face of funding shortfalls that they didn't directly have control over. And maybe there were other choices to make, but
Well, I visited a school in Newton, Iowa, It was an alternative school where they used to have the Maytag there. And the superintendent in his meeting with me, I was interviewing him years ago, he said something, everybody blames the budget, everybody blames the Department of Education, the money, but Maytag put millions of dollars in the school, gave free computers to kids when we in Iowa City had one computer for the teacher at the time in the classroom. Everyone at Newton, Iowa had a computer because of Maytag, because Maytag thought of investing in the school so that the kids would graduate and work from Maytag. So it was, sometimes a business can do a lot of things.
Sure.
Rachel?
Sometimes I feel like in the classroom at the start of the year we were doing science a lot, like at least like 3 times a week. But then later it started going more like 1 time every 2 weeks. And the same with social studies.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to run for the Board of Education. We have an election coming soon. Forget about those guys, you know, Jason Lewis and Eric and all these people. You run, okay? And I guarantee you are going to win. Right, Jason?
Yeah.
She can compete easily.
Absolutely.
it's like about the foreign languages, I think that it's most important just to get everybody to realize that this is important and to have as many people as possible say this until they basically can't
stop it.
yeah.
Well, I think I would love to continue, but I have to wrap it up. I have to thank you very much for this. This has been a delight, the best conclusion of a year of hard work for education exchange. And I wish you all the best, all the luck in your endeavors, in your aspirations, and in your plans for the future. Thank you very much indeed to our audience. We are on YouTube tomorrow night. We are on Public Access TV website, as well as on the Public Access TV other outlets like Channel 18. We are on Channel 21, the education channel, after the board meeting 3 times a day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.